Hello everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. I'm my buddy Rhett, and I have a nut for her today. I don't know what this kind is called, but I broke off a little piece in there. I think that'll keep her busy, and she'll try to break this open. She can't. I don't think she could break that open on her own, but where I have it cracked, I think she'll be able to do it. So I thought, yesterday I was like, I'm all done with this, but there was one last thing that I need to change. So it should be nice and easy. It's pretty exciting. We're almost done with this. I think after I get done with this last code change, um, then I can sort of package it all up and create a distribution and put it somewhere. Create a little video for LinkedIn so I can tell everybody, yay, I actually finished a project. But looks like we are up and running. So the last thing is this thing right now. So right now, the reason we have a red exclamation point. What? What? Oh, you just wanted your kiss? Okay. Oh, are we okay now? You okay? All right. I guess Rhett needs a little bit of attention. We have this red exclamation mark, and the reason we have it is because something happened in the API that we were not expecting. Actually, expecting is over, but something has changed since the last time we set this up. You can scroll. You can see that up here, and then you can scroll down, and you can do that, and you see, oh, process locally. So about a month ago, process locally showed up, and I was actually almost done working on this project, and process locally just showed up, and I was like, oh man, we gotta figure that out. So now what I want to do is add process locally to the expected API items, and then we'll come in here, and I believe it's in my services if I remember correctly. Nope. See, this was bad architecture, Marty. Speech service. Probably should move that over there, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So in here, I believe there's a list of well, maybe not. You know what? And that was another architectural miss. Was actually I put it in the component, and I remember thinking through that and thinking it was a good idea to put it in the component, but I think it has ended up being a bad idea. So we have this API tab component, and inside of here, we have our expected properties. So I'm going to add one more expected property. Hit save, and theoretically, I love you too. Theoretically, that will go away, and it's gone. And we officially are expecting process locally to be available. So if it was gone, we would then get a little warning up in here. So that's good. Now that's a very simple commit. And here it is. We just add our process locally there. Git add. I always feel good anytime I'm working on a project and you can just say git add dot. If you can't say git add dot, that's kind of a bummer. That usually typically means you have something changed locally that you can't commit, you can't push or whatever. So what? What? You don't want this project to end? Is that what's happening here? Maybe Rhett doesn't want this project to end. All right, so git commit -m. Let's see, adds process locally to the list of expected API properties. Booyah. Booyah. Git. Woohoo. Push. All right, so we have a couple of small cleaning things that I'm going to do. I'll probably do those hopefully next weekend I'll have them done. But one is I think I want to create a video that I'm going to serve up out of the public directory. It used to be called assets directory, but I believe it was changed to public directory, probably in Angular 15. It seemed like a lot of the big kind of structural changes happened in Angular 15. Um, where are you? So we have our source. Is it really an app? I don't know. I know that you can configure a public directory, or it used to be, like I said, it used to be assets. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, see, we have this public folder, and we are serving our fave icon out of that. So if we wanted to change the fave icon from this Angular icon to another icon, we could by just putting it in here. But this is where I want to put my video on how to use this at. And then what could go wrong is just like, I don't know, things you should know if you want to, there's some sort of things about working with this application that, people probably just don't necessarily understand. Like, for example, I don't collect any data. I don't even have cookies. I have nothing, all that. But if you use this application and you use your voice, then Microsoft or Google is collecting all that information. So even though I don't collect any information, the API itself that does the voice collects information about you. So if you're not comfortable with that, that probably should be something that you're aware of. So I'll put it in the what could go wrong. If you choose not um, to sort of click around and read, which I am very, very guilty of that normally. I mean, that's a bit on you. You should have probably absorbed any information you could about what's going on. But anyways, as you speak, information about you is being collected. Certain things about you can be determined based on your voice and based on your accent and based on your inflections, and they can tell all kinds of things about you. It's really shocking. Like, I worked at this one place where any file, any voice that they recorded that had a credit card number in it would be taken off and put into a separate folder. So like, they could listen to your voice and they could determine if you're saying a credit card number or not. They could determine if you're saying a social security. They could differentiate between a social security and a credit number. They could all kinds of stuff. They can figure out all kinds. Based on your voice, they could immediately pull up all your social media, and then there was like scores associated with your social media. There's just all kinds of stuff. So when you use this tool, you are sharing your voice. When you share your voice, you are sharing a lot of information about yourself. Probably should mention that in the what could go wrong part of this. For me, it's no big deal because I literally have probably 10,000 hours of voice at YouTube, so obviously my voice information is free for the taking for anybody who's at all interested in it. So, saying hello into a tool like this would not give them much more. I mean, a little bit more. It could give them a little bit of information about my state of mind on a given date or whatever. And, possibly, there's all kinds of stuff. But anyways, yeah, that horse is out of the, I mean, I think if you use any modern thing, though, you're probably, or if you're around anyone using a modern thing and you're speaking, obviously they're probably getting your voice. Now, I did a bit of a deep dive, and we are a small, people who are involved with around computers and all that is a minority of the world, right? Like, I think only like 1 in 8 people are actually sort of in this sort of world circumstance. So like, if you, I don't know, grew up in some remote island in the Philippines and they have never gotten your voice before and all that, then, I guess you have something to protect, possibly. I don't know. But anyways, so we added that, we committed it. Let's go ahead and push it. All right, well, it looks like we pushed it. So that will do it for today. We got this thing to go away. It was super simple. Um, when we spent a lot of time setting this up so that you could just easily add and remove things. So we optimized that the code to be able to add and remove expected properties quickly and easily. We optimized the code so that you could um, do this kind of thing really easy. We optimized the code so that you could set up routes very easily. But there's a lot of things we did not optimize the code for, and so like if someone were to say, hey, can we add another property? Yeah, that's a 2-minute job, only because we spent hours optimizing for that 2-minute job. There are things that someone might come up with that might not be very easy to do, that would be easy to do in another application. So I would imagine anything like you might be like, oh, can we just add an about page? And that might be a lot more complicated in this. Well, we already have an about page, so we've already optimized for that. But there's probably some, if a product manager got a hold of this and they wanted some sort of changes, there are probably changes that would be very, very difficult to do. Way more difficult than it would be like just if I just had a regular web page. But then there's things that are just very, very easy to do that are just a lot easier than if I just had a web page. Something that might take 100 hours might only take a few minutes on this. So like guessing what you're going to optimize for is super important. So anyways, that is going to do it for today. Nice short video. Next time we will probably do the how to use video, and maybe I'll probably do that offline, make the video, but then we'll add it to the public folder and make it to where it launches um, in here um, live. But making the actual video will probably be that will probably be done offline, and it's only because I mean I want the whole video to be no more than like 2 minutes max. Hopefully closer to 1 minute. Just like, hey, there's an API, blah 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 blah. This is da da da. This is how you use discrete. Do an example. Change some setting. Or this is how you do continuous. Do an example. This is what the logs look like. Go back to discrete. Change some settings. Um, go to continuous. Change some settings, and um, and then be done. And hopefully I can get that all done in like 90 seconds. And then add that to there so that someone can get a quick tutorial on how to do this, and then we'll just sort of, I would imagine the what could go wrong part is going to take a while, but maybe a session or two, maybe three, and then I'll probably create the distribution on here, and then I'll think I'm gonna try to figure out how to put it at GitHub. Um, because I know with the GitHub, with the actual code, there's a way to put the distribution somewhere where I think it'll work on GitHub itself, and then also on like a custom URL. So, anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.